Good afternoon, gentlemen. I hope you're well. Today, we're going to go out of our comfort zone with regards to LP farming. And because there's not too much action on a lot of chains and we're just waiting for the prices to go up, what I'm going to sort of establish in this video is you can make a better yield or gain farming the same assets but on different chains. I'll give you one example. Bitcoin on Solana might yield you 10%, for example, per year. But farming it on a smaller chain with less competition, less liquidity, more volume will give you maybe 50% a year. And there's no difference. The Bitcoin is Bitcoin on any chain. Both of them aren't actually real Bitcoin. Wrapped Bitcoin on Solana is wrapped Bitcoin on other chains. Now, you do take the risk of some chains aren't as secure, some chains aren't as decentralized. Who knows who's running these dexes? But I'll give you an example again. So on this chain C or SUI or whatever it's called, we've got a DEX called Dragon Swap. Now, Dragon Swap works exactly the same as pretty much any other DEX. Now, if we take a look at volume, have a look. This is the lowest risk pair in yield farming that I know of. USDT and USDC. Two stable coins together, both at $1. You just provide the liquidity. People can use your liquidity and they'll pay you a fee. The yield it's bringing in is 73%. That may fluctuate, but it will still bring in the same amount. Take another example. Ethereum USDC is bringing in 200%. That is an incredible yield for wrapped Ethereum. Now, if you farm it on base, it's a bit more secure. You're a bit more, you can sleep better at night. Dragon Swap, I don't have too much clue about, but I'm sure they're going to keep their protocol running if they're making, $10,000 in fees per day. Another example could be, let's take a look at Near Protocol. Near Protocol, and I sort by volume, could be Zcash or Wrapped Near. Let's take another look. Let's look at Zcash and see what it's bringing in. But I'm just getting you to think outside the kind of box and see if not all chains are good, but there's less competition on these chains. So Zcash, let's sort by volume. Zcash doesn't show the APY. Anyway, I don't know why. Maybe because it's privacy, I don't know. But we can take a look at some other chains as well. Sonic, it might be another one to even take a deep look at. Wrapped Ethereum and wrapped Bitcoin. This would be interesting because they're the two biggest assets across the board. And if it can even give you like a 10% gain, then it's absolutely phenomenal. So we've got the wrapped Bitcoin. That's unheard of. That's basically 0.5% per year farming Bitcoin and ETH. I should really add to that pool. And it gives you rewards as well, which is even better. And it does have a significant amount of liquidity. I'm not familiar with Shadow Swap, but it's worth dropping in $200 on there and getting some wrapped Bitcoin, wrapped ETH, let it build up, sell it, and then move it onto an exchange and then swap it into the actual Bitcoin and actual Ethereum. So that's probably the best way at the moment where you're actually going to get yield, I believe, personally, because I don't think we're going to do too well farming on certain chains. This is not actually Solana. If you're on Solana, that's not actually Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what chain you're on. I hope you get the point. But for me personally, just looking at this, I'm going to take a deeper dive. Wrapped Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's worth sticking in $100 in. And especially, what was the other one we saw? On Dragon Swap, the USDC and USDT. That's a really good one. I just hope they let you connect. Yeah, they got MetaMask, and that's even too much of a wider range. So you'd want like a 0.01% will be fine on that, like so. And then you'll just drop in 200 quid, $200, $100, $50, and then you can earn a very, very risk free, probably the lowest risk. I'm not saying the risk is low with the Dragon Swap, but take a look, see what you can do. It's You can see the fees here or the volume here, TVL, whatever, and you can establish. Have a deep dive, have a look, let me know your thoughts, and I wish you all the best, guys. There's yield out there, we just got to find it.